As stated, this meeting is about the recycling program in the city of Malden.
Mistakes that are made are plastic bags. People might ask, why aren't plastic bags recyclable? Plastic bags are recyclable, however, not in a curbside collection process. So we ask that you bring that to your grocery, your local grocer, or use paper bags, but no garbage bags, no plastic bags from your grocer. Those are not recyclable in the curbside collection process. So where can you find that list? thecityofmalden.org/trash. If it's not acceptable recycling, it's considered trash. So the last thing we want to do is throw away something that you think is recyclable, but we will not have a choice. If it's not properly done, it will be considered trash. And we want to make sure that everything that you're putting in the recycling is recycled correctly. So, starting on Monday, June 6th, we are going to be putting out non-compliant stickers. And those non-compliant stickers are going to look something like this. They'll be orange, bright orange, so that you can see it. It'll be saying non-compliant recyclable material, that it's trash. Some examples are even on the sticker: plastic bags, food waste, wooden crates. People think that that's recyclable. It's not recyclable in the process. Textiles, clothes, blankets, those are not recyclable. The garden hoses, it is not a plastic that can be recycled. It's actually not a recyclable item. So there's all types of items. When you go to the city website, you can look at what is and what is not acceptable. Be happy to answer questions if it's not on that website. But I think Ron and Caitlin actually went over a list. There's a lot of items that are on there that are normal, everyday items that should be answered in that website. So trash items. What happens to the trash? So Malden is a pay-as-you-throw community. Obviously, those items need to be thrown away in the pay-as-you-throw bags, the blue Malden bags. If they are put in the recycling, it's going to get a sticker and it's going to be left behind. The whole item and the bin of all the contents in the bin. So everything's going to be left behind, and you'll need to either separate the items that are trash and take those out, and we'll pick it up the following week. Or you can, buy the bag and throw all the contents away. The major part about the trash is if you put trash in the recycling, it's going to contaminate the whole load. So you might think that it's, you're not doing a bad job. You throw that peanut butter jar in there, but it's got all the peanut butter in there, or the Coke can, or the soup tomato sauce can that has all the tomato sauce still in it, and when that explodes inside the truck, it's going to get all over all of the materials. Once it touches all the materials, it's considered trash. And we want to make sure, like I said before, is that everything gets recycled. So if we don't have those problems, we can guarantee that it gets recycled. But when we have those type of problems, then there's less of a guarantee that your materials that you're putting out are being recycled. So once again, plastic bags, I have to reiterate this because this is probably the most common mistake with the city, is that plastic bags are recyclable. They are not recyclable in the curbside collection process. So please do not put your items in plastic bags or garbage bags or trash bags. Those will not be collected. Everything needs to be loose or in a paper bag. So I said before, we'll make sure that the plastic bags, you can bring those back to your local grocer. They have programs that you can bring to your grocery and give them to them. You can opt for not having plastic bags and ask for paper bags, but it will be left behind. So you'll get a sticker with that plastic bag, and it will be left behind. So like I said before, we're going to be starting on June 6th, that's this Monday, and we will be leaving the non-compliant stickers with that material. So, to take away from this, we will obviously want to, continue to assist the city. There's, obviously we want to make sure that the recyclable materials are recycled. That's our goal. We want to make sure that that is. The last thing we want to do is consider these materials as trash. So if we can make sure that they are recycled, we're going to do so. But we need your help. We are willing to help you as well. If you have questions, we're willing to do that. But we need to make sure that the recycled materials are packaged correctly, properly put into the bins, and put at the curb so that we can pick them up and recycle it correctly.
Any questions?
Yeah, one second. There's a few more things I'd like to tell you about with recycling. We have these recycling stickers that are free to residents. We would suggest that at this time, even if you'd like to use a barrel, your own barrel with a sticker instead of the bin, keep a cover up to keep it contained. That will help us keep the city clean. Also, if you have recycled materials, we allow you to bring them to the city yard Monday through Friday, from 8 to 4, or Saturdays 8 to noon. But again, it has to be recyclable materials. We'll open it up for questions now. If you, we'll pick you one at a time. Please come to the podium and say your name and address for the record.
You can just come right to the podium, that's where the microphone is, so that MATV can pick up everybody's audio.
We'd like to thank Councilor Di Maria for attending as well here this evening. Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Excuse me, because I cleaned a piece of plastic that I put in my blue bottles, okay? And now I don't understand about the recycled bags to get at the grocery store. I use those to put them in, and I put that recycled bag in my blue bag. So my blue bags are clean, and now you're telling me I need to do more work on this, and I think it's an integrated program. We need to move on and get rid of the blue bag. Just makes no work, there's a lot of senior citizens here. Okay, so you're making it more difficult, it's very confusing. Because I've been cleaning my teacher boxes and everything, and I do not want one of those stickers on my recycle bag, because I don't bring it to City Hall. I am not about to go up there and redo what I normally did, because I've been doing it for years, and there's no one complaining about it. So now you say we can't use the recycled bags from the grocery store, and then you can't do this, but you can do it. So what's the...
Can you translate what you said? Because we can't understand.
So she just restate what the question is. So the question is that the resident uses plastic bags for her recycling and then puts the plastic bag inside the blue City of Malden bin for her recycling. Jim Moskin will now answer the question. I think it goes hand in hand with what we stated earlier about the plastic bags not being recycled. Jim can answer that question for our resident.
Are they recyclable?
So plastic bags are technically recyclable in some respect, however, not in the curbside collection. And it's been that way for as long as we've had the program. It's gotten a lot worse. So to your point of why is it now, everybody's using plastic bags.
Are they putting them in the blue bag or the yellow bag or in their...
Correct, incorrectly. They're doing that incorrectly. And they're also putting garbage bags, they're putting all of their recyclable items in garbage bags and putting it in the blue bin. So everything should be loose in that blue bin. That's why part of the process is not to have plastic bags.
Okay, and I see that you eliminated items that we've been collecting as part of recyclable, but this is just going to generate, you want to buy more plastic bags. And this is what it is. You'll have to buy more plastic bags You'll have to go buy more blue bags, because now they're streamlining it, now all these years later, they're streamlining it to say you can't do that and you can't do that. Why can't we just move on into the forward with getting that?
Actually, this meeting is about an educational process, so that we're all on the same page of what is properly recycled for years. We've been a little lax, and Jerry has taken everything, but we are a dual stream community, we need to follow our contract. What's happening now is, as Jim said, people are putting, so say you like a plastic bag, you know, you're probably doing it right by putting your plastic, cleaning out your plastic and putting it in the bag, and think you're doing it correctly. And we appreciate that, but there are people that will take that plastic bag and put different items in it that are not recyclable. So once that bag is closed and put in the bin, we don't know what's in it, but again, on the two-part, the plastic bag is not recyclable curbside, and it needs to be put loose in the bin. But thank you for all your efforts on recycling.
Send me $100 to buy us all things so we can modernize the city.
Thank you, Millie.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening, Stephen Lewis, 34 Francis Street. 2 questions. You mentioned exploding tomato soup cans, but was the point that people should rinse everything that they're disposing of?
Yes, sir. Yes. So everything should be rinsed thoroughly. You know, if there's a little residue, oily residue, it technically should not be. They need to be cleaned, and all items should be cleaned and recycled.
Thank you. And the second question is that very often plastic bottles will have caps. Then the bottles themselves on the bottom will have the triangle and the number of the plastic. What about the caps?
The caps, we say to keep on the bottle. It is acceptable.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question.
My name is Lee Goldman, I live at 228 Glenwood Street. I have a couple of questions, because I'm crazy with recycling. You mentioned a peanut butter jar, throwing it away with peanut butter. If you clean out the peanut butter, it's recyclable, correct?
Correct.
And my cans and everything else that I'm squeezing throwing away, okay. Now, on the paper, it talks about plastic salad containers. Now, if the plastic container has a 1 to 7 on the bottom, and I wash it out, it's recyclable.
Correct.
Okay.
The only one is styrofoam. Styrofoam sometimes has a triangle on it, and that is not recyclable in the curbside collection process.
Well, then I'm sorry for putting my few pieces of styrofoam in my yellow bucket. So,
That's what we're here to clarify.
forgive me.
Yes, but
Forgive me.
on the styrofoam, something that the city does offer now is if you put styrofoam, we have 2 hazardous waste days at the city mall, at the DPW, and you're allowed to bring styrofoam down free of charge and take on those specific days.
It's styrofoam, but styrofoam isn't hazardous.
No, we
Oh, yeah, but, okay.
It's not a curbside collection, but you can bring it on down those Saturdays that we have the hazardous waste day. And we will take it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, John Keefe, 26 Boulder Street. First problem, you're talking about us recycling and separating everything out. I was sitting on my front porch Thursday morning when they collected my garbage. They collected the recycling, they took the paper, they threw it to the paper side. They took the bottles and cans and threw it to the paper side. So if we're supposed to separate it out, why are you throwing it in the same side instead of separating it out?
So the biggest thing is we have laborers, employees on the back of the truck that are our eyes on the back of the truck. They're policing the streets. So if we see that there is some mixing going on, you know, it might not be you, but it might be your neighbor. You know, we try to make sure that everything is separated correctly. We don't have the time to separate everybody's material, so that's kind of to the point of, if you're doing the right thing, that's great, you know, and we need to spread that word and make sure that everybody else
But
is.
he was doing the right thing, and he ignored the fact that it is the paper in paper, and clearly had bottles and cans in bottles and cans. And he threw them all the same size, so how is he actually doing his job?
Yeah, I mean,
That's my first problem.
it's going back to our facility and being separated. Right now,
Then
it's
why am I separating it?
because you're a dual stream community.
But I did separate it, and then we put it together.
I'm gonna go to Jack.
You gotta get one, and then we can just have you
I
line
see
up.
it every week. That's all I'm gonna say.
So I feel that we're being blamed for this, and I'm not saying that people are not doing what you're saying. But I'm also saying that in some part, you're not doing what you're requesting.
So what you just said is, that they're not doing what I'm saying. Well, they are in other ends of it. So everybody else,
But I watched them not do it.
maybe not yourself, okay? So if you're doing it right, but 90% of the other community isn't, then we have to...
You're avoiding the problem. You're avoiding the problem by deflecting it and saying that the other people aren't doing it. So that means that nobody's doing it. That's what I'm understanding.
So,
One at a time.
let's do one at a time, we'll be happy to answer everyone's question. So I think to sum up what you're saying, we've seen the same thing happen at times, and in this process of educating everyone on the proper way to recycle, what is happening is, and you're correct, we get the same phone calls. They have a split barrel in the back where one side's supposed to be for paper, one's supposed to be for plastic. They have a company called Greenworks on Route 1 that separates the materials up there. And again, as Jim said, we're a dual stream community, we're not a single stream community, but in an effort for JRM to work with the city until we get this straightened out, they've been taking the materials so we don't leave a mess behind. That leads us to why we're here today, to get the message out, to recycle properly, moving forward, so we can all have a great recycling program and a cleaner city.
Okay, the next problem that I have is you're saying you're trying to get the message out. Now, it's Wednesday, and you're starting on Monday. So a lot of people are not going to get this message. A lot of people did not pay attention to the phone call that they got. So how are we going to tell them?
It's gonna be an educational process. They're gonna leave this stick, because we're assuming we're gonna
To
have.
be educated, you need to be taught.
Exactly.
But you're not teaching, you're saying, okay, we're doing this as of Monday.
Basically, it's what we should have been doing all along, sir. We're a dual stream community, so we should have been separating from day one. We agree that we've got lax, and JRM is, in an effort to work with us, taking materials that are not separated. We're looking to correct what we're supposed to be doing. We should have been doing this from day one. So we're gonna work with our residents to educate you on how to properly recycle. It's not a fine process. You're gonna be left, if you don't do it properly, you're gonna be left, morning notice, your materials are gonna be left. What's then gonna happen is, it's that when you come home from work and you see that sticker on your recycling and you think you did it properly, it's then gonna generate a phone call to either DPW, the mayor's office, the council office, and then we're gonna spend time to tell you how to properly do the program. It's the only way to put this thing back on track that we need to do with properly having recycling in the city.
Okay. My next problem is, you're saying we don't know how to recycle. I lived in Europe, I had separate bins for glass, for plastic, for whatever.
I'm not saying everyone, sir, doesn't.
Okay. But I'm not understanding the process here. You say recycle it, you say separate it. We separate it and they put it together. You're saying that then they take it and they separate it someplace else. You said, we're starting this on Monday, and you're talking about it on Wednesday. So far, nobody's ever really answered my questions. They just said, well, not everybody's doing it, and we're trying to educate people. So you didn't answer my question.
Your question is, why are they taking it and putting it in the same compartment?
First problem, I separated it out, and then they put
We
it all
understand.
together.
Yep, but your question is, why are they taking it curbside and mixing it, correct?
Yes.
I answered that question. In an effort to work with the city of Malden, they are taking materials that are mixed, and it's getting sent to their company up at Greenworks and separating, which we should not be
Why
doing.
am I separating?
Because you're doing the right thing, sir, and that's why we're here to make sure everybody does the right thing. So we applaud and thank you for doing the right thing, but we need to have everyone do the right thing. Is there a second question? Because there's a line of people that
Okay,
are...
the second question was, why are you talking about this on Wednesday when it's starting on Monday instead of talking about it 3 weeks ago or a month ago?
Again, sir, it's not a change to the program, it's how it should have been going since day one.
Okay, it may have been supposed to be going there since day one, but it hasn't been, and now you, at the last minute, you're saying, we're gonna do this on
If
Monday.
I can just answer your question, then I'd certainly turn the mic back to you. We're a dual screen community, which means your paper products have to be separate from your plastic products. And you know that, you're doing the right thing. There's no change to you, so we thank you. Next week on your trash, you're gonna do the same thing you've done right along. The only difference is Jared on the curbside is gonna take your materials and have it, the plastic where the plastic's supposed to go, the paper where the paper's supposed to go. But the next home that doesn't do it properly is gonna be left a sticker, which then is gonna generate a phone call by that resident to want to know why their recycling was not picked up, and we're gonna educate them so they're doing it exactly like you're doing.
So now, in the meantime, bringing up the third question, since they're not actually separating it and putting it in both sides of the truck in the first place, what's to say they're not gonna have a sticker because the guy didn't want it?
Say that again?
Okay, right now, I'm separating my plastic, bottles, whatever, tin cans, putting them in one bag. I'm putting my paper in another bag, and I'm even putting it in a paper bag. Now, they're just throwing it together in one side of the truck. They're not separating it and putting it in both sides of the truck. And you're saying that's for convenience, I understand that. But what's to say that for convenience, I don't feel like doing that? And they put a sticker on it and don't pick it up.
We have to have a reason, sir, to leave it behind, or else when we go out there, or when the city enforces it and goes out there, they're gonna see that it wasn't.
Thank you, sir. Next. I believe we did.
Warren Giampoli, Adler Street. Again, my name, Warren Giampoli, Adler Street. All right, two small questions. I went on the site today. I just have one question on recyclable. I put two paint cans out last weekend, clean, you can almost eat out of it. And they left them in the bucket. I went on the website, it says clean paint cans can be recycled. And what's the answer? I mean, what do we do?
Paint is a hazard material we take on paint collection days, unless it's latex and it's dried out, they'll take that and put it in blue bags.
That's exactly what I did. It was dry, you could eat out of it.
Was it in the blue bag?
Yes, yeah, and they left it.
If that happens, call my office. Like I said, we
I mean,
have.
it wasn't major, but, you know.
No, but that's what we're here for. We're here to serve you. So if you have a problem like that,
No, that's fine.
and it's latex, call the office. Ron Zanazzo, our solid waste inspector, goes through the trash room every single day, and we'll correct that immediately.
That's fine. And the other question really isn't recyclable, it's about the regular trash. I went on the site and it says you can put out 3 foot length once a week, 3 foot length of carpet. A couple of years ago, it's going back a couple of years, I put a 3 foot piece out, they left it, I called the city guys. They said they didn't take it because they got chemicals in it. So what do we do there? Do we still put a piece of?
You can put a length of carpet. I'm not aware of your specific situation about chemicals on it. I don't know
That's what the city
how
said.
somebody made an assessment of that, but again, if you call my office, Ronnie will go out there and look at it, and I'm sure the
Yeah,
3
it's
foot
like
length of
it's
carpet.
no big issue, but I was just concerned going forward.
Call the office and you'll get satisfaction. You can ask to speak to me or Ronnie Zanazzo, and we'll handle your issue. The DPW number is 781-397-7160. I also have a stack of my cards, so if anyone would like to take one at the end of the night, if you have any questions, which has my email address on it, and everything, pretty easy to get in touch with.
I'm sorry, ma'am, just before we get to your question, I just wanted to cover one thing. Again, my name's Ron Cochran, I'm in the mayor's office. So one of the things that we just introduced, before we forget and people go off, I want to make sure people understand and know about the new service that we offer on our website. So we partnered with a company called Recollect, and what they do is, for lack of better terms, they give us a trash app. And what it allows us to do is it allows us to keep 2 things on hand on our website. One is a database that tracks pretty much every kind of material that you can think of, and then what way it is disposed of. And that's not only materials that we recycle and throw away, but also tough to remove materials, like construction materials, hazardous waste, things like that, food compost, things that we don't handle in the curbside pickup, but we still felt was important to communicate to you a way to get rid of this waste. So if you go to our website, cityofmalden.org/trash, I just wanted to show you, you should be able to see it. Can everybody see it on screen? Okay, so if you go to cityofmalden.org/trash and you scroll down, you're gonna see, and by the way, I understand there are some folks that aren't able to get online, and for those folks, we can process these things for you manually. So if you had a question and you wanted us to research it for you, you could call our 311 line and we'd search a material for you, or we can add you to this program. So the two things that are available, one is My Schedule and Get a Reminder. So what you can do is you can search for your address. And so if you search for your address, you'll notice that it automatically fills out. So these are just addresses that are within the city of Malden. And when you go ahead and click on them, it's going to show you a customized calendar for that address that's accurate to where your trash zone is. And there's two things that you can do from here. One is you can download this for a calendar you can hang up on your refrigerator. And the second thing you can do is get what's called custom reminders. And what this is, we give you several ways for us to notify you when your trash day is. Now, I understand probably everybody remembers when their trash day, but my trash day has been the same for the last 20 years, and I still manage to forget every now and again, so I'm sure people can identify with that. But also, things like household hazardous waste days, yard waste collection, things that come on a annual, semi-annual, quarterly basis that are hard to remember, or maybe you missed the ad in the paper. This app will tell you all those things. So it'll text you, phone, call you like a robot message will tell you, email message. So there's a number of ways that you can choose to be notified in all these ways. And so far we have over 500 residents that have signed up for it, and we hope that you guys can go back and sign up for the app as well. And lastly, if there are any alerts, things like high wind days, snowstorm that Bobby has to call off trash collection for that particular day, ad hoc things that happen on the fly, we're able to push these notifications out through this system and get those messages to you. So again, we found that to be very helpful. If anybody has any questions, they can let us know. And like I said, if you have any questions about materials, we can search this database to tell you how to properly dispose of them.
Thanks, Ron. If anyone has any questions, Ron will be around afterwards about the app, and we'd be certainly happy to answer anything you may have or how you can get signed up for those notifications. It is a useful tool. Thank you for waiting.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Maria Vickers. I live on Glen Street. The non-compliant stickers, are they removable?
Yes. They are a sticker. They are removable technically, but it is a sticker. So it could, hot day, be a little bit more sticky than on a cold day.
But if I, fix my problem and try to peel the sticker off, you should be able to tell
So
that I'm taking the sticker off.
Yeah, and we're actually going to try to put the sticker not on the bin itself, but more on the material.
Very good.
So we can kind of differentiate exactly what's going to be.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good question.
My question is, when you shred paper and you put a plastic bag into the shredder bucket, and then you take it out and just put it in with a recyclable.
So unfortunately, you cannot do that. You have to put a paper bag in your
Why
shredder.
is that, sir?
Because paper is recyclable in the curbside collection process, but plastic is not.
Like I'm talking about the shopping bags.
So all plastic bags are not recyclable in the process. The system that it goes through, and it's been like this for as long as the program's been in place, but like Bob
How
said,
can you put a brown paper bag into that shredder?
I'm not sure what your shredder looks like.
What you can do is you can put your plastic bag and shred your papers, you put it there, and then dump your shredding into a bin.
That's double.
We understand, but unfortunately, with the plastic not being acceptable, that's the way we're gonna have to recycle it.
I can move right along, and it's always taking it.
And again, we agree with you, and that's why we're here today, because a lot of people don't know how to properly recycle. Even in my own household, my wife, she's a very good recycler, sometimes better than me. But to answer your question, you need to put it in a paper bag. You can still put your shredding out, but it has to go in a paper bag. So take the plastic bag that you have in your barrel, and then dump your shredding into a paper bag, and put it out the serving table. Thank you for your question.
Howard Coleman, Magnolia Street. A few questions. Pizza box, one,
Pizza boxes, if they don't have pizza and they don't have the oil and the grease, that's the contaminant. So if it's a pizza box that's never been used, it's technically recyclable. However, if it's got the pizza on it and the cheese, crust, all that stuff that's inside that can get on it, that's unfortunately not recyclable.
it's pretty hard to get rid of. You know,
Yeah,
take
it
up
is.
the whole bag.
I don't make the pizzas, I just,
I understand. And now, how do we get rid of wood and clothing and all that stuff? Just
Wood,
clothing?
you're allowed to put one bundle of wood out a week as your bulk item. So if you do a little home repair, it's not a job that you need a contractor for, that's a totally different category. But if you do a little home repair yourself, you're allowed to put one bundle of wood out per week. The caterer will take it as your bulk item, because we offer one free bulk item per household. What's that? No. Three bundles of wood go out. What was the second part of the question?
Clothing.
Well, we have a drop off at the DPW for clothing. You can drop them at the DPW.
Anytime?
Anytime the container's there, around the clock outside.
And styrofoam anytime?
Styrofoam is only on the hazardous waste days, and we have it twice a year. You can take it down there and
You're supposed to save it up.
October 1st is the next hazardous waste.
Now, on the recycling, can you coat, are you supposed to coat into paper and plastic or not?
no, separate.
So you're supposed to have two bins?
You can have two bins or put all of your paper in a paper bag, cardboard box, that's all recyclable, that can be separated. It doesn't have to be in a bin, it can be in a barrel, trash barrel that you have, get a sticker, put all that on. We will pick it up as long as it's properly identified.
And I'd like to bring up again what the first guy said too, see if I can say it differently or whatever. People that say have their trash picked up, you say starting Monday, okay? So my trash is picked up Monday. I've already got half my stuff out there that's already mixed. I mean, why can't you just wait a week and get the word out before you punch people in the gut, you know? Yeah, but still, at least this way we've had a warning. You know, I understand we're supposed to do it all this time, but we aren't.
We're going to have a little bit of that understanding and a little bit of a grace period, but we're going to try to enforce it.
You just told us that starting Monday, they're gonna leave it. Well, that's not a grace period. That's what I'm asking. You started the week after. I mean, you're in the middle of the week now.
Okay, so we started the week after.
Then you punish people.
But what are we gonna do within that week?
People have to. You call for a meeting, you know.
So there'll be a grace period beginning Monday. It'll be effective June 16th. Okay?
Fine.
So effective June 13th, the following Monday. So we'll use this week as an education process to get the message out.
Catherine Gerald, Riviera Street, Malden.
Well-
Are we ever getting larger recycling bins with covers? Because on a windy day,
We agree with you, and I have the task of keeping the city clean. Right now, we've looked at different options. It's something that we would like to look to down the road, because we've outgrown the 18-gallon recycling bins, and we agree on a day when the recycling ends up on the street. In the meantime, what we would recommend, most people have a barrel. You can put your recycling in a barrel, we'll give you the sticker for free, and put out your barrel with a cup, and that will contain it. These are the stickers right here, we have plenty of them, so put a sticker on a barrel, with the cover, and that problem will be solved. So, that's what we're recommending, and this is the time to do that.
Another question, so this means that we have to buy a second recycling bin?
You don't have to use a bin, you can use the one bin that you have for your plastics if you like. As Mr. Moskin said, you can put your paper goods in a cardboard box, you can put it in a barrel. It doesn't have to be a bin necessarily that you have to buy. You can use something else to put it that you have. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Karen Shipley. I'm on Bauer Street. I have barrels that have the stickers on it for commingled and paper. Is there a barrel that I can use that says, a sticker that says trash, so I do not have to use the pay-as-you-throw bags?
No, you can have a sticker that says trash that you put your pay-as-you-throw bag in the barrel to keep it contained so an animal doesn't get at the bag. We are a pay-as-you-throw community. Everybody has to use the pay-as-you-throw bags.
Okay, because I will say that on our trash day in my community, the streets are so littered because the blue bags are ripped apart overnight by animals, first thing in the morning, and it's very discouraging to use those trash bags and see my neighborhood littered up with debris. So the more things that, without having an alternative, like if I could use a barrel in place of the blue bag, because people are cleaning up everywhere, including the JRN people cleaning up the messes that are all over the street. I think that the pay-as-you-go bags have really contributed to mice, rats, raccoons, possum, all coming because they can feed on the neighborhood without any other reasonable alternatives such as a solid barrel.
We understand what you're saying. Like I said, you can put your bag in the barrel. Whether you use the pay-as-you-throw blue bag or you use the hefty bag, it's no different. Actually, the pay-as-you-throw bags are 1.75 mil, which is stronger material than a regular hefty bag. So you that's concerned like we are, you can put your blue bag inside a covered barrel. That would stop any pests getting into your.
Which I do, and then I leave it on top. But I see a multitude of people who put it out, and for whatever reason, it ends up on the ground, or knocked over, or dragged by the critters in the neighborhood. So I think the critters are spoiling the recycling system as well. And I'd like to say that I myself have seen trash mixed on trash day. I have seen DPW pick up trash and throw it all in the back of their pickup trucks, which is discouraging for my effort to separate, to recycle properly. But I don't like the idea that the residents are getting blamed for the problems of not knowing that these changes need to be further enforced. They need the time to adapt. I don't like the idea of putting non-compliance stickers. I find that insulting as a taxpaying resident in Malden who has been trying to comply with the recycling program. I'd like to see our program similar to our neighboring cities that offer strong trash barrel disposal that encourages and reinforces compliance with recycling. I think we're working against ourselves in Malden.
Oh, I can tell you as far as recycling in the city of Malden, before pay-as-you-throw, we did under 1,000 tons a year of recycling. Since pay-as-you-throw, our recycling is up over 4,000 tons a year. So proof is in with the numbers. Our recycling has improved immensely in the city of Malden. I do understand your concerns, and being in charge of the DPW, it's our test. The time that you'll see a DPW truck coming to pick up those materials is if something happens and we get a call and Jeremy's left the city, we go out and we'll pick it up because we don't want to leave it on the street. Because again, we're out there street sweeping and cleaning the city 7 days a week, emptying the trash barrels. So again, we can relate to what your concerns are, and there are concerns as well.
Okay, and one last thing. I'd like to have some of the revenues generated by our recycling used to educate us as residents for our recycling and not get punitive messages about us doing it wrong. If we need more education, provide it, use some of the revenues generated from our recycling to support the residents in continuing and improving.
And that's why I think we're here tonight, is to educate. We're not putting blame I truly believe that the whole process is about an education process for everybody that's involved. We're not putting blame on any of our residents. We think that a lot of people just don't know. And there's so much to know with the recycling. So no one's trying to say, you're doing it, you're wrong, we blame you. We appreciate that you're here tonight to hear our message and to work with the city of Malden correcting an issue that we're having. So that's why we're all here tonight. We appreciate you being here.
And lots of new residents that need to be educated and educated as well.
Ma'am, it's a great, by the way, it's a great suggestion about the education. Just wanted to let you know that one of the things, this app that you have that we just demonstrated, this along with many other things that we have planned come from a grant that we received from the Department of Environmental Protection. So what we're doing is we're actively going after grant money each year with probably the chief concern on our minds is our efforts at communication just like this, because we do feel like we can't increase, like you say, the education. It is tough when you come to a cliff like this because it does seem like everything's punitive. But as an example, our local DEP rep is actually presenting Malden to neighboring communities. It seems the reverse because sometimes you see a need bin, you think it's a better program, but actually our numbers are better than neighbors. And not only that, but the efforts that we're making in education are being looked at by other communities. So I appreciate your suggestion, and we are going to go in that direction.
Okay, thank you.
And one more thing I'd like to tell you, Caitlin Smith is our recycling coordinator that works for JMM, and part of our contract is education, so any questions she'd be happy to answer for you as well, and that's why we're all here to work together to get to resolve.
Very good, I'll call.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Kim Duncan. I live on Justin Street. I have a few issues with recycling. What I've been doing is I take my recycle, wash all of it out, I put it in the plastic bags, I tie them all up so they're all over the neighborhood. And then then I see them just throw them all in the bin at the same time. The paper, my tin, and my paper, my tin, and plastic. They're all in different bins, but they're in the plastic bags, and then the broken recycle bins that I have that's gotten run over by one of your trucks. And I had 4 of them to start out with. One got run over by your truck, and one got stolen, and the other 2 are broken.
Well, one thing I can say and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but on the recycling bins, if you bring your broken bin back to the DPW at 356 Commercial Street, we'll replace it for free. We understand that over the course of time, bins do get damaged, so if you bring your broken bin, we'll replace it for free.
And where can I get the recycle sticker that you had?
We have them here tonight for you, and looks like we've got a pretty good pile there, but if you need more, we always have them on hand at the DPW, which is located at 356 Commercial Street. That's across from the old Rosebud Farms. We have them right here in the office, and they're free of charge to our residents.
Okay.
Thank you. Can you give us a sticker?
My name is Linda Thorson. I live on Chestnut Street. And I want to underscore the need for education. I'm thanking you for doing this because I firmly believe that part of the reason why Malden Recycling improved was that a wonderful mailing went out when we began the Pay As You Throw program that explained exactly what could and couldn't be recycled and how. And I think maybe we need another one of those based on what I'm hearing tonight. I also want to make you aware of a couple of things that you may not know go on in the city. One is that phenomenon that my husband calls drive-by garbage. And it happens when we come out and after having put out our things and find 2 or 3 other bags in front of our house that were put there by people in multi-unit buildings that are near us, because for whatever reason. The other piece is disappearing garbage. We have sometimes put out a blue bag that is partially full and discovered that one of our neighbors, and this is something we don't particularly mind once we understood why it was happening, one of our neighbors took the bag and added their garbage to it, therefore saving themselves a little bit of money. This is the kind of thing that happens at the edges of strange policies like what we have.
We've heard, believe it or not, we've heard everything that you can think of regarding trash. trash and recycling. So the things that you just mentioned, common things, because not every day, but we've heard. If that happens where somebody leaves a bag of trash next to your blue bag that isn't yours, call the DPW, Mr. Zanaz will be out there. What we do is then we go through the materials, and if we find anything where it's coming from, they get a $300 fine for illegally dumping.
Okay.
Always feel free to call our office. That's why we have Mr. Zanaz, and he goes right out and takes care of those issues.
I have a couple of specific questions about recyclables. One is, you mentioned paper cups. I'm wondering about, I go to Starbucks, I get a cup of coffee. I've got a plastic lid and a paper cup. If I rinse out the cup, is that recyclable or not?
So it depends on the paper cup, and that's kind of why we put it there, because some paper cups have the wax coating on it, and the wax coating is not acceptable. Wax paper is not acceptable. Wax cardboard is not acceptable. So because that paper cup, it might be compostable, but it's not recyclable in the curbside collection place. When it goes to the mill, they have strict guidelines. The recycle mill that all the paper goes to has strict guidelines that there are no wax products allowed, and that could contaminate an entire batch of recycling material.
So another question, I currently typically have my paper goods broken out into paper bags, and I often take the paper bags and stick them in the top of the bin because they've got handles, they're easy to take out, and is that still okay?
Perfect.
Okay, so because sometimes the ground's wet.
As long as it's paper in a paper bag, it's not a problem. Once the plastic bag gets introduced, that becomes the problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more comment in terms of the mailing that was discussed when we originally went to Page and Throw. We're in the process now of refining that initial flyer that you saw published and making it a little bit more Malden-based, so it's clear that it's coming from us, and tweaking it. Once we feel like we've got a good copy of that flyer, we are going to be mailing that out in tax bills, so we will effectively be doing that same mailing. So that would be further education that we're doing. Additionally, we will hold more of these meetings as necessary, so if we feel like we're still in the same situation, you know, a month, 2 months down the road, we will definitely have more meetings as necessary.
Sir.
Stephen Lewis, still on Francis Street.
Thank you, Steve.
Trying to stay with the formatted question, I'm going to ask, this is a question for the city actually. What about the city working with landlords on a voluntary basis to, when they have new tenants moving in, to give them a packet of the nice materials that are available at the city yard around recycling? You're working with the landlords?
Yes, we actually.
Because I'm a landlord and I've never worked with the city on this. I've never heard from the city about this.
Yeah, what we've tried to do in the past year in particular is we have quarterly meetings with all of the realtors in our city. And so we meet at different locations in Malden. One of the things that we talk about as part of them working with new residents in our city is PAYT and recycling and other services that we offer. We also have created, that we have had in use for the past 4 years, is a packet of information that are available for new homeowners and landlords that may have new tenants. Like anything else, you know, we have to continue to promote it to make sure that everybody's aware of it, but it has come in very handy for us, particularly on the homeowner end, because we have an easier time tracking through the real estate transactions, who's buying and who's selling. And so if you wanted to, we have this available in the mayor's office. Maria Luis, our chief of staff, is off to the right, and Kathleen Lynn Hall is in the back. We can certainly make you avail of those packets if you wish.
My thought is, with this recycle thing, you think people are gonna just turn around and put their recycles in a regular blue trash bag and throw them to the curb?
No, we're not saying that, Kathy. What we're saying is that when you put out your recycling, you have to separate it. We're not telling you, we don't want you to put recycling.
No, I totally understand that, but what I don't get is when the truck comes up my street, they take my bag with the papers then the bottles, the cans, and they throw it into one truck. They don't separate it. And then I've been by the facility up on Route 1, and to my knowledge, what I see, that it can do everything at once. So why should that, like, be on the burden of us? We're already paying for it with our taxes and plus with the blue bag. So what if we just got a 40-gallon container, use that, and anything over 40 gallons, buy the blue bags? And that would put maybe a stop to Maplewood, Linden, all the way down Salem Street with these people taking advantage and throwing the trash in. I see you guys out there on a weekend cleaning up, and it shouldn't be. And I see the mayor cleaning up, that shouldn't be. You know, his time is precious. He doesn't have to be on the street. And I think it's a lot to do with people don't want to buy the blue bags, and, you know, us who are buying them are suffering.
Yeah, thank you, Captain. This particular meeting was specifically talking about recycling properly. We're not about the trash. Obviously, we've had conversations about trash. But this is specifically about contaminated recycling, people mixing their paper cardboard with the plastics and how we have to correct that to...
Yeah, and they're just going to end up putting it in the blue bags.
I don't know. I mean, not to disagree with you, but if they put it in the blue bag, it's going to cost them money. So I think it's a big thing with it, like anything, is educating people to do it properly.
Right.
And with things like this hearing tonight, we're hoping that we succeed in getting our message across, along with social media and other ways of communication, so people can learn the proper
But
way.
do you go up and down the streets and see on trash day that you'll only see blue bags and you don't see the recycle bins out?
You see me out there.
I know. I mean, I put my recycle bins out, and I have to be handicapped, and I have to go down 2 flights of stairs with it. It kills me. You know, but then when you see a whole street, and like 7 of them, and there's no recycle bins, why? They're putting it in their trash. And it's not fair to us who recycle.
I just want to remind everybody that, you know, that's not prohibited. Obviously, it's not very smart because you're paying more money, but it isn't prohibited. You know, folks can do that. It's gonna hit their wallet a little bit harder. So what we hope is that, you know, people just maybe take the extra step about the rinsing the cans, or, you know, things that you once thought were recyclable that aren't, and, you know, prepare it. And just also want to remind everybody too, before we close, that MATV, we'd like to thank MATV for coming out and filming this tonight. So for folks that didn't get a chance to see this, or you want to rewatch this on replay, or tell neighbors, this will be rebroadcast on MATV. And then the second thing, common theme that some people have brought out is the concept of illegal dumping, things that are, you know, outside of the scope of this meeting, but it is very important for us to know about. If you see something like dumping it into a public receptacle, you know, throwing an air conditioner behind a building, any of the things that we see around here, we do have a system for reporting that, and that's SeeClickFix. So for folks that aren't familiar with that, if you go to SeeClickFix.com on the web, or you call our office at 311, we'll report it for you, and it's logged into the system, and our trash inspector will go out, look at the issue, and then find where necessary or take care of the problem. So we you know, eyes and ears is really helpful for you guys to help us on that.
All right, thank you.
They weren't, all right.
Thank you.
I ran the TV station.
Good evening, sir.
No,
Well, Mr. Marks,
I was.
you know me from my emails. There's a Hugh Hawley from Avon Street, Malden. Just a quick yes and no question. My wife likes to tie up magazines with twine and everything before she puts it out. Should we not be tying it up with twine?
Prefer to have it in a paper bag, but twine is okay.
Twine will take it. Thank you for meeting us, by the way. Then a question for JRM is, do you know of any video that maybe on YouTube, does JRM have any plans on making a video, making it easier for us to understand the dual screen?
It's a good suggestion. We put together some materials, some literature, so that you can read it. It's kind of clear cut as to what can and cannot be put into a bin, but that might be something that we could do in the future.
Yeah, that'd be great for the forensic files. Thank you.
Thank you.
We were actually just having a discussion about that very concept, sir, so that's a great suggestion. I think we can definitely put something like that together. So it looks like that's the end of our questions, and we just wanted to thank everybody for coming out, and if there's nothing else, then we will be rebroadcasting this on Malden Access Television, and we would like to let everybody know if you want speakers, they're up here. Questions will be around here, and again, if you'd like to sign up for that trash app, don't forget cityofmalden.org/trash.
And again, if anyone has any questions, we'll be around afterwards to individually answer any questions that you may have. Thank you very much for coming tonight.